Walking with the ghost.
This week's Mandalorian episode number 6 was a real fun episode, especially because it featured one of my favorite comics, that being Bill Burr, in the role of Mayfield, one of a number of, four of them, mercenaries that an old friend of Mandalorian known as Ran wants him to go on a little, rescue mission, if you will. And the Mandalorian, how he is, he's not sure if he wants to work with these guys. He meets them one by one. He meets Mayfield, then he meets Berg, and he meets Xian, and also Zero, a robot, a droid. And they go on this mission. At first, the Mandalorian didn't know. He thought they were going to go in there, retrieve somebody, kind of like a rescue mission to get him out. Finds out he is on a maximum security ship, and he's a prisoner. That person ends up, it's actually the brother of Xian. He's known as Quan. And, at first, these guys are like trying to one-up each other, especially, Berg. And he's always trying to like get in the Mandalorian's face. He's, pushing him with his, shoulder to shoulder, just nudging him and trying to man up, trying to man up to him. Mandalorian, he keeps telling him like Mandalorian, I thought they were bigger, giggling. Even Mayfield is getting little digs in there too. And it goes the way they want it to go. They all end up arriving at this maximum security prison. They make their way in, and it's manned by droids. And you do meet one human, and they're able to. The Mandalorian, like I said, he tries so hard to kind of do it to where he doesn't have to take lives. He only does it if he needs to. And this guy's an innocent guy in his eyes. He's just like, you don't have to kill this guy. And Shan just, all of a sudden you see a knife, connect to this, I guess you can call him a guard, and killed him. And she's just basically going, oh, you guys are just all talk. And they walk off, and they're able to get her brother Quan out. And then we see Berg kick Mandalorian back into the cell, and they lock him in the cell. They think that's it, home free. We got rid of the Mandalorian. He's going to be rotting in that thing. We know better than that, right? We know better. We know that the Mandalorian is going to escape, and he does. And seemingly, it looks like he kills off, Shan and Mayfield and Berg one by one. But what happens is that he ends up at the end. We see all three of them in the very same, cell like they had the Mandalorian. And I thought they did. I thought he killed him, But I guess even with them, and he even said they deserved it when he, talked to his, brother, and the brother was quick to throw his sister under the bus. He's like, I don't care. Like when he wanted to leave with Mayfield, and Mayfield's like, what about your sister? It's like, he pretty much just like it's like he didn't care, you know. She saved me, you know, whatever. It's like that attitude, like, well, she saved me. I mean, I didn't ask her to. She saved me. So the Mandalorian, you know, he surrenders to the Mandalorian. He said, "That's your code, right?" You know, it's like, and he takes him back to Ran, and seemingly, you know, it's like he takes the money from the currency, whatever the payment was, and he goes off. And all of a sudden, you know, because before that, you know, when they were fighting that one guard, and he had a homing device or something that would alert the rebels to their presence where they are. Now, it was a beeping thing, and they kept counting down. Robot Zero kept counting down as how much time they had before they arrived. And we see that device, but then we don't see it ever again. And then when he takes off, you hear like a beeping. And then Quan reaches into his pocket, pulls it out, and notices that he's like, "What is this? You know, what is it? What is it?" They look off, and the Mandalorian's taken off, and then he kind of evades these three, ships or aircrafts out there, and they end up being X-wing fighters. And they decide to rain down blaster shots onto the where Ran and where Quan was. So he pretty much got them in the end. And I don't know, there was some explosion there, but did they get killed? I mean, they may have, but I like the fact that he was able to kind of, get away with kind of getting them in the end, because it's kind of like it was kind of messed up in the beginning, like how they want him to help, them, and then yet they turn around and it's pretty much they turn their back on him, not really turn their back on him because like really they were together, but they kind of did a double cross and let the Mandalorian know that, hey, you got us this far, we don't need you. And it was a way for, I guess, for Shan and Quan, because they knew the Mandalorian, and they decided, hey, you helped us this far, we got my brother speaking for Shan, and then you ride this cell. Well, we knew that the Mandalorian was going to get out. And there's also another thing where the little guy, the child, was on the run, kind of running away from the droid. The droid, for some reason, wanted to kill it. I don't know. He actually knew about the child and the history of it. Found out, like, you wouldn't think he would take that to the, to the guild and, maybe get paid for his crew, but he was able to, I don't know, like, toward the end, he's found in this little, I guess you can say, little quarters there, and the robot had a blaster. The droid had the blaster pointed at the child, and the child puts his hand up and starts closing his eyes, and perhaps he was going to be able to help defend himself and be able to take care of himself, and all of a sudden, I thought he did. All of a sudden, you see the get blasted. I thought it was something that maybe I was thinking he shot the blaster, and then the child made the blaster shot kind of flip around and hit him, but instead it was the Mandalorian behind the droid that took him out, killed him. So that was the episode, episode 6, entitled "The Prisoner." Like I said, I liked it because I got to see Bill Burr in it. And Bill Burr is a real great comic, funny as hell. I love him. All the stand-up comic shows that he does. He's also, if those of you are familiar with F is for Family, he is an animated show, kind of like the same vein of King of the Hill. And I guess you could put, like King of the Hill, because it actually reminds me of King of the Hill, the way the animation style, and it's an animated. He plays the father. It's hilarious.
Now, when it comes to the X-wing pilots, they're played by Mandalorian director Dave Filoni, and also his
guess you can call them his comrades in arms, were Rick Fumayiwa and Sesh Ketter, played by Deborah Chow. I mentioned that already. And they did pretty well. You know, they looked real comfortable in those roles, and you know, trading the old, you know, the banter that goes on between X-wing fighters and stuff. And like I mentioned, Deborah Chow is going to be directing the upcoming Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series. That should be interesting. I believe, yeah, and I believe Ewan McGregor is going to be coming back to play him, and that's awesome. That's pretty cool. And let's take a look at, you know, the talk about the those who are behind the mercenaries. You know, of course, Bill Burr, who plays a former Imperial sharpshooter, and then we have the legendary, I guess you can call him, and you know, we've seen him in so many movies. A lot of times in horror films, it has Clancy Brown, and he plays Berg. And then Xian is played by Natalia Tena. Now I've seen her without makeup, and the makeup doesn't really do her any kind of justice because she's really a pretty girl, and the makeup kind of made her look just, you know, not like how she looks. I guess that's how it should be because it's, you know, she's supposed to be some you know, looking like, you know, one of those creatures from the Star Wars universe. So, you know, and then Zero, played by Richard Ayoade, and he's the voice actually behind the robot. And this guy, Cruz Cordova, is the one that plays Quinn, her brother, that they break out. And also Matt Lanter. Now I mentioned it as like he was a guard, but he's actually a officer, a New Republic officer, on a ship full of droids, and it's played by a guy who, during the Star Wars Clone Wars, the animation, he was the voice of Anakin Skywalker. So quite a list of actors and actresses playing these roles in this episode. You know, they really brought out all of the heavy guns, if you will, when it comes to bringing this episode to life. I really enjoyed it, like I said. And you know, The Mandalorian just seems like it cannot do any wrong. You know, there's some people out there that are criticizing it and past episodes, and I don't know what people are looking for. I mean, you weigh this with the Star Wars recent trilogy. Oh, it's going to be a trilogy with the Rise of Skywalker. Which one do you like or enjoy? You know, I think those who don't like the recent Star Wars films, this is something that you guys should look forward to. At least there's something that has a semblance of what you look for in a Star Wars type of a film or TV series. But I got no complaints. I enjoyed these 6 episodes, and we got 2 more left before, you know, they start filming and start location shooting and all that stuff for season 2. But you know, we just gotta wait and see how it turns out, where we're gonna lead off or end off in episode 8 in regards to whole thing with the Mandalorian and the Guild. What new actors and characters are going to be introduced in the future of the Mandalorian? Well, that's my thoughts on the Mandalorian episode 6, entitled The Prisoner. For those of you who stopped by and checked out my video, I appreciate it. And in closing, and as always, take care.